Welcome back to the Archive Network. Aurelius here, with Malik, curators of the Classified Archive. We left Alexander Litvinenko poisoning last time but what would be the consequences of these revelations? Today we pick up where we left off. At the heart of the Litvinenko case were several key figures, each playing a significant role in the unfolding narrative. Alexander Litvinenko was not just a former officer of the FSB. He was a man torn by loyalty and betrayal. His defection to the UK in 2000 marked a significant shift in his life. He was a man who turned against the very institution he once served.
But let's not reduce Litvinenko to just his role as a defector. His motivations were deeply personal, fueled by what he witnessed in the late 1990s. The FSB's brutal tactics against dissidents weren't abstract. They were realities he faced. It's important to remember, Aurelius, that his actions were driven by a profound sense of justice, not mere defection.
Fair point. Litvinenko's experiences really shaped his fierce criticism of the FSB. The agency's extrajudicial killings left deep, lasting scars on society. His desire to expose corruption went beyond mere whistleblowing. It became a moral imperative. He felt he had no choice but to act, even knowing the risks. Tragically, this relentless pursuit of truth led to his untimely end. A stark reminder of the lengths some will go to in the face of tyranny.
And yet, that tragedy was compounded by the geopolitical implications of his case. The poisoning occurred during a time of escalating tensions between Russia and the West. His death wasn't just a personal tragedy. It was a signal of the lengths the Russian government would go to silence dissent. It was a calculated act in a much larger game.
True, the stakes were elevated. Litvinenko's famous declaration, "I will be a witness," underscores this. His intent was clear, to expose the dangers of speaking out against tyranny. But we have to ask ourselves what would be the fallout from these revelations. We could see martyrdom for a cause, perhaps, but the implications reached far beyond his death. They sparked conversations and fears that rippled through society, forcing many to reconsider their own silence in the face of oppression.
Andrei Lugovoy, one of the key suspects, really embodies that complexity. A former KGB agent, he was deeply entrenched in the Russian intelligence community, with ties that go back decades. His denial of involvement? It reeks of that typical deflection we often see in state-sponsored operations. When he claimed, "I've never met Litvinenko," it felt like a calculated move, a way to sidestep responsibility. It's troubling to think about how these tactics impact real lives, especially for those left behind.
Lugovoy's demeanor speaks volumes. Trained in the shadows of the FSB, he carries a certain ruthlessness that's almost expected of operatives in that world. When he met Litvinenko at the Millennium Hotel on November 1st, 2006, it wasn't just a casual encounter. No, it was the beginning of a carefully orchestrated operation, one that would ripple through history. We can almost see the threads of deceit being woven in that moment, setting the stage for events that would unfold with deadly precision.
But it's crucial to remember that Lugovoy wasn't alone in this. Dmitry Kovtun was right there during that fateful meeting too. His background as a businessman linked to Russian intelligence really adds layers to the whole story. Together, they form a network of complicity that stretches far beyond just their individual actions. It's not just about them. It's about the people affected by their choices and the ripple effects that can last for years.
Kovtun's statements only served to further cloud the waters. He claimed, "I am not a killer. I am not a criminal," yet he admitted to meeting Litvinenko. That's a contradiction that speaks volumes about the murky shadows in which they operated. This wasn't merely about business. It was a deadly game with high stakes, where lives could be extinguished in an instant. We must remember that in these dangerous circles, loyalty is often fleeting, and trust is a rare commodity.
Exactly. This investigation revealed a complex web of deceit that runs deep. High-ranking officials within the Russian government were implicated, which really suggests state involvement. The British intelligence report pointed to a level of planning and coordination that only a state could pull off. It's clear this wasn't just individual operatives acting on their own. Think about the people caught in the crossfire, lives disrupted, families torn apart. It's not just a story of espionage. It's very personal.
Empires thrive in the shadows, exploiting fear as their greatest weapon. When Litvinenko was poisoned, the shockwaves didn't just affect him. They rattled the foundations of international diplomacy. We often forget the human cost of dissent in authoritarian regime. It's not just about a single life lost. It signals to those who oppose the regime that their voices can be silenced in the most brutal ways. We must remember these lessons as we analyze the past and its ongoing impact.
And then there's Ben Emerson, a true voice for justice amid all this chaos. His relentless advocacy for accountability was crucial in the wake of Litvinenko's tragic death. Emerson really got that this wasn't just about the loss of one man. It was about something much larger, a disturbing pattern of state-sponsored violence and repression that affected countless lives. He saw the human cost behind the headlines, and he made sure the world listened.
Emerson's commitment certainly gave hope to many. His assertion that what happened to Alexander Litvinenko is not just a tragedy for his family resonates deeply with us. It highlights the emotional toll this case took on countless lives, reminding us that justice isn't just a legal pursuit. The quest for justice continues, shaped by the legacy of those involved. And we must not forget that every story, every struggle, adds weight to the fight for truth.
That's where we leave it this time. Alexander Litvinenko poisoning continues. The story isn't finished yet. Find the full series on the Classified Archive, part of the Archive Network. We'll be back with the next chapter.